Now, here's a scary thought. When you look at the New Testament, there's no mistaking the idea that it's possible to think of yourself as a believer, but to miss out on being a real believer. And this would mean, going through life thinking you're okay, but finding out in the end that you're not okay. Now, I want to give you 3 reasons that could happen and how to avoid it happening. The first 2 are foundational, but the third is arguably the most helpful to understand how all of this works. Now, our text is linked below, and it comes from when Jesus was asked in Luke chapter 13 if only a few people would be saved. Now, this is how he answers. He says, "Seek to enter through the narrow door." In other words, don't worry about the number, just do what you can to make sure you're part of that number. But here's why many people who would self-label as Christians even may miss out on that narrow door. Number 1, we don't understand or don't appreciate what saved really means. I say that because increasingly, the idea of being saved is made fun of a lot in our culture. But when Jesus was asked the question, it was a serious topic. It was an inquiry about arguably the most important question in all of life. Will I stand at the judgment of God, kind of thing? And the term used is a Greek word sozo, which means to make whole, heal, even rescue from danger. And there's nothing unsophisticated or worthy of ridicule about the concept of rescuing someone from danger. It's one of those things that we see happen all the time. The most common would be, when you get deathly ill and you go to the emergency room or you call an ambulance. This happens when you know that you're out of control, you're in over your head, and you need someone else's help. So you call out for rescue. And when that helping hand shows up to pick you up and give you that healing, that's what sozo is. Now, this is the essence of what being saved actually means. Now, Jesus was very clear that everyone, all of us, need that rescue because our moral flaws, we have a need to be rescued from the inevitable justice that we're all going to face. Now, if you're truly saved, it's because you've called out for rescue. You had that moment where you realized you were helpless. And a lot of people really honestly haven't done that. So even people who would label themselves as Christians may just think the goal is to somehow live a nice life or somehow approximate how Jesus would want us to live, like live according to the golden rule or something. But what it comes down to, this is all about asking for the rescue, and people miss out on that. So that's reason number 1. Reason number 2 is we don't fully understand the absolute necessity of being Jesus-centered as opposed to what I would call generic God-centered. A solid majority of Americans believe that there is a God, and it's well over 80%, I think. But I saw a survey recently saying that 52% of Americans say Jesus isn't God, but was a great teacher. Now, when you read the text in the link that we're talking about, that's an example of one of the many occasions where Jesus is far more than just a great teacher. He actually is claiming to be the judge at the end of everything that everybody has to face. In other words, according to Jesus, everything rises and falls on our response to Jesus. Now, that means God has definition. He is revealed in the New Testament, in the 4 Gospels, Matthew, Mark, and Luke, and John, as Jesus. He's the one that you have to face. And sometimes we forget that. And it's very clear He's the one we need to trust and to follow. And it's not just a generic idea of God that you kind of hold around in your head. This is someone that has specific requests, specific values, specific things that He wants from our lives, and we can easily overlook that. Now, that's according to Jesus. That's not just me talking. And the early Christians didn't make that up either. They're just trying to faithfully communicate who Jesus is and what He's all about. And our job is to respond. You can either believe that He's claiming what's true, or you can reject what He's claiming. But either way, you have to take Jesus at what He's claiming to be, and He's claiming to be that judge. Number 3, we're confused about what belief really means. And this is the one I think is the most helpful when it comes to working through the question when Jesus was asked, will only a few be saved? Now, here's how He responds. Strive to enter through the narrow door. Now, anytime I've read that, it's always bothered me, if I'm being honest. See, the Bible's very clear that salvation is a gift. It's not something you earn. It's not something you deserve. That rescue that you ask for is free of charge. So why in the world would he say something like strive? Now, the answer is understanding the two terms. The first is earn. Earn means something that you work for. It's an attitude and a relationship with God that says, if I do this good thing or that good thing, he kind of owes me something back. He owes me good things for me having done good things. I deserve it, right? Well, this idea is firmly rejected by Jesus, all of his early followers. There's no question about that. On the other hand, to strive is another concept altogether. The original word points to a picture of conflict or competition. One Bible commentator says it this way. I'm going to quote here. Strive is a word denoting wholehearted action. It's a technical term for competing in the games, and from it we get our word agonize. It points to no half-hearted effort. Now, this does not mean that human achievement merits entrance into the kingdom. It's an attitude that is in the mind. It's about focus. In other words, following Jesus is something that I deeply care about. The Apostle Paul put it this way. He said, for me, to live is Christ. To live is Christ. And listen to the words of 18th century pastor Jonathan Edwards. He said, that religion which God requires and will accept does not consist in weak, dull, and lifeless wishes, raising us a little above the state of indifference. To strive means I'm not indifferent. I don't lean on some prayer I prayed when I was at a church camp when I was like 8 years old and then just occasionally think about Jesus here and there after that. I'm focused on the narrow door, Jesus himself. Remember, you need rescue. You need the rescue from Jesus. And that's not just a generic idea of God. And he is the focal point of your life at that point. Many professing Christians do not think that way. But the good news is that can change today. The beauty of all of this is that this gift of the rescue is available to anyone who just simply ask for it. And you can ask for that today, and you can make sure you're a part of that few number, if you will. Well, if you've gotten anything out of this content, it's been helpful to you, please hit a like or subscribe, and we'll see you next time.